welcome to a series of Minecraft.
Oh wait, they are. That, my friend, is my tongue-in-cheek way of telling you that this is
So if
video.
you
Seriously, it's a paid video.
find
Dan,
me,
I think
obviously
it's a
it's
good theory, so don't you
stored.
be getting all prematurely self-righteous without giving it a
I
chance.
got up here and survived.
Aight.
Ow.
Let's theorize.
Oh, no. I forgot where I got up from now. Oh yeah, right, it's there.
Take it out.
Wait a second, guys.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory. I gotta admit, I'm a bit disappointed that
That's just my trick with fist. Didn't put on bonus chest.
I mean, look at this clip. Well, give me the power to stay my boss.
Do you know what you have to do to get the power? You can't do it if you just talk.
I'll do anything. Hot and cheesy, just the way I like it. Also, that's Belle. Once upon a time for all you Disney fans out there. Fun fact. Anyway, enough about late 90s cheese fests. Let's talk about cavemen. Now, when Ubisoft first announced Far Cry Primal, I have to admit, I was definitely intrigued. And no, not just because they paid me to be intrigued, okay? I mean, think about it. This is an FPS franchise making a jump to prehistoric times. An era, mind you, with no guns, thus rendering the S part of FPS fairly questionable. Pretty ballsy. Well, I guess you could say it went from FPS first-person shooter to FPS first-person survival. Have they used this in their marketing at all? No? Ubisoft, get on this! This idea is gold! But this isn't just any sort of prehistory. This is set in the Mesolithic era. When human civilization first started to form, we began migrating out of Africa, and we started to domesticate animals for uses other than food. It's not a time
Diamond Gamer drinks right there.
all that often. Long gone are the days of Chuck Rock and Joe and Mac, my friends. And that opens the door to a lot of subjects I haven't been able to cover on the show, which is always really exciting. And let me tell you, after looking at those topics, from the game's beast mastery system to the migratory patterns of the world's first humans, I can tell you that Far Cry Primal, from a lore standpoint, may be the most important game in Ubisoft's history, as it serves as a prequel to literally every other major story it's been telling for the past decade. Let me explain. It all starts with the game's beast master ability. Now, when it comes to animals in Far Cry, the relationship has always been, what's the word? Murdery? But Far Cry Primal is a bit different. In this game, for the first time ever in the franchise, you actually have the ability to partner up with a lot of the animals in the world. And this makes a ton of sense. As I just mentioned, Primal depicts our world during the Mesolithic era, which took place between 10,000 and 5,000 BC. It was around this time that we, as a species, began selectively breeding animals as hunting partners, pets, and workhorses. And I don't mean that idiomatically. I mean literally horses that do work. In the end, it was a system that benefited both sides. Humans were given steady sources of labor, food, and companionship, while animals like wolves, cattle, horses, and pigs were given protection, food, and shelter. Who hasn't wanted to command a rabid honey badger to strike fear into your foes? But then that begs the question, where's my little mammoth? Friendship is mammoth. My little mammoth, my little mammoth. Well, only certain animals can be domesticated, because they have to meet a list of 6 requirements. These are, in no particular order, not being picky eaters, reaching maturity quickly relative to the human lifespan, breeding while in captivity, not
So this
fleeing
is my series of my Minecraft Let's Play. Other people would probably have some, other YouTubers I know would probably have different series, but still play with me.
They take 15 years to mature. By the time Takar, main character of
But I won't be recording them. They'll be recording them.
Dead based on the average lifespan of humans in the Mesolithic era. That's why I'll never be able to live my dream of cuddling up with a wildebeest familiar. Alas, because not to be. So then if we're not domesticating these animals in Far Cry, what is beast mastery? Well, while you may not be able to domesticate animals like eagles, tigers, and honey badgers, you can tame them. But what exactly is the difference between taming and domestication? Basically, taming is the act of conditioning a single animal to tolerate.
There we go, we got the start of our
or to even
house.
follow orders. It's behavioral modification of wild-born animals, teaching against their natural instincts to either attack or avoid people. Basically, it's bribing them with food to be our friends. It's like what I did in middle school to all the 8th graders. I knew those Oreos my mom packed would help my social life, and they did. Taming, then, is obviously different from domestication, where over the
So what else?
generations, we
Let's
selectively
make
breed out the hostile instincts of the animal. we write this off as just a video game logic? No, I don't think so. And here's why. In the game, Takar chugs some blood, chunky style, chunky blood, and goes on a drug trip, which just goes to show kids, never drink blood from strangers. This message brought to you by the Anti-Blood Drinking Association. Also, never expect to get through a Far Cry game without taking a drug trip. Anyway, this takes him on a spirit journey where he follows an owl spirit that appears to give him the power of beast mastery. Once he snaps out of his hepatitis-induced hallucination, he suddenly can tame animals instantly. It's a cool skill and definitely comes in handy throughout the game. But get ready to have your mind blown, because even though it's the first time we as the player are able to control animals for our own use, Takar isn't the only Beastmaster to appear in the series. Other Beastmasters have been hidden throughout the previous games. We've just never noticed. But take a minute to rewind to Far Cry 4 and the Royal Army and Royal Guard Hunters. These guys have the ability to instantly charm wildlife into attacking you in an instantaneous, almost magical way. Sound familiar? Well, maybe that's because they themselves are Beastmasters. Don't believe me? Look at this. These foes communicate primarily through whistles. And how does Takar summon his animals to come do his bidding in Primal? You guessed it. Through a simple whistle call. And that's not all. One of the biggest reasons hunters in Far Cry 4 were such a pain was because they're so stealthy and could track you seemingly through any cover. And that was an intentional design decision. These enemies have the special ability to see through foliage to track you. The exact same skill Takar demonstrates thousands of years earlier in Primal. Oh, and by the way, their primary method of attack? Bow. Takar's also bow. But speaking of bows, let's take a look at another enemy.
Maybe cheating, it's just I really do not want to die and not spawn here. Sorry.
By the way, these guys are mystical memories of possessed warriors of legend from a long time ago. The other Rakshasa we see in the game are modern-day fighters, a warrior class re-established by the game's villain when he read and was inspired by the Shangri-La lore. These guys are noteworthy because they attack with a weapon known as the Hunter Bow. Notice the signature look, with the two sticks overlapping in the middle. Now, let's take a look at some early footage for Far Cry Primal. Notice how Takar makes his bow, two sticks overlapping in the middle. And what's the bow's official name in the game? I bet I don't need to tell you, but I will anyway. The Hunter Bow. And if that wasn't enough coincidence for you, you know what else the Rakshasa have the ability to do? Attack by summoning animals. In short, what we have here, loyal theorists, are more Beastmasters. So what exactly am I saying here? Well, I propose to you that Far Cry Primal is the prequel in a connected universe, and that
This
Takar and
house is
Tribe are
probably
direct
looking quite
ancestors to the enemies you
already.
see in later
Make
installments
a
in the
chest.
franchise. The Beast Mastery skill
Put
is being
this
bestowed upon
inside
it by the
there.
Owl Spirit. It's
Now
handed
let's
down
keep
across
these on us.
thousands of years and hundreds of generations to the hunters and
collect
Rakshasa you
food.
see in Far Cry 4. But not only the ability to instantly tame animals, but also their knowledge of crafting bows and skill with using them, as well as their ability to miraculously see through foliage. But there's also cultural traditions that we see get handed down. Look at the body paint on the Rakshasa warriors in Shangri-La. Broad strokes of color clearly applied by the fingers and shapes across the chest and arms. And now look at Takar's tribe mates in Primal. Admittedly, we don't get to see much since this is still early footage, but notice the broad strokes of color applied to the chest. It's very possible that this cultural tradition was handed down across the generations. And I hear your skepticism, it's just a bunch of color smeared across your body. It happens everywhere, right? But that's not exactly true. You see, Far Cry 4 is set in Nepal, on the border of China and India. Here, body painting tradition is very much housed in henna tattoos, intricate drawings on the skin where the ink is a paste made from the leaves of the henna tree. And you actually see this in Far Cry 4. Look at the arms of our friends, the hunters. You can spot the intricate henna tattoos drawn on their bodies. But the Rakshasa warriors of legends, the ones from Shangri-La, these are a people from a much older time period, one closer to their ancestral roots. This older form of body painting shown on the mystical Rakshasa warriors originates from elsewhere, from a different time, Takar and his tribe. Which brings up one final question. Location. Far Cry 4 takes place in Nepal, but clearly Primal isn't happening in the Himalayas. So what's the connection? Well, remember, Primal depicts the earliest human civilization. This is right after the Ice Age came to an end in 10,000 BC, when humans were just starting to migrate out of Africa and form settlements elsewhere in the world. Let me pull up this migration map. These arrows show the early migration routes of human civilization. And if you look, you'll see that two go right through southern Asia, right across the border of India and China, which is exactly where we just said Far Cry 4 and the other Beastmasters could be found. Takar truly is the first in this lineage, and the skill we see him receive from the gods is one that gets passed down across generations, ending up in the Far Cry games that follow. But oh no, it doesn't stop there. In an earlier Ubisoft video, I outlined my theory that the company has been building one giant connected universe across all its games, connecting Far Cry to Assassin's Creed to Watch_Dogs. You should watch it if you haven't. I'm still waiting on that Rayman connection, by the way, Ubisoft. Get on that. But based on all this evidence we've covered today, Takar may play an even bigger role in all of Ubisoft's games that we know of. He isn't just the ancient ancestor to some of Far Cry's enemy types, the Hunters. He's the ancestor to one of the main protagonists in the Assassin's Creed series, none other than the star of AC3, Connor. First, let's go back to the migration pattern. We know that Connor from AC3 is of Native American descent, meaning that for him to be a descendant of Takar's lineage would have had to have migrated from their location in southwestern Asia to North America. And looking back at the migration patterns, that's exactly what we see. You can see that North America became populated by human colonies originating in southwestern Asia, exactly where we pinpointed the Hunters.
No, they didn't give me a bow.
Coming from. We also know that Connor's preferred weapons are the tomahawk and the bow, just like the bows the hunters used before him. No, it's not specifically the hunter bow, but remember, this is multiple millennia after Primal, so technology and weaponry probably has evolved since then, I would hope. And not only that, he too has the ability to see through foliage and focus on certain items in his environment using his eagle vision, a technique very much akin to Takar's hunter vision. And finally, bringing it all the way back around to where we first began, there's beast mastery. In the DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington, Connor gets the ability Alpha of the Pack, which allows him to instantly summon and command a pack of wolves. He unlocks this ability within himself after drinking tea from a red willow tree, causing him to have a vision and visit Skyworld. Sound like our favorite caveman blood strip adventure? You bet it does. From there, all we have to do is connect the dots. Connor is an ancestor to Desmond Miles from the AC games. He's also the son of Hatham Kenway, who is himself the son of AC4's Edward Kenway, and so on down the line of assassins that we all know and love. And based on that last video I mentioned, it also pulls in Watch_Dogs and other characters from the Far Cry games. In short, if this theory proves to be true, Primal has given us the origin story for all the plots Ubisoft has been spinning over the last decade of gaming. We are seeing the birth of one man who has created one of the most prestigious family trees in all of gaming, and that is really exciting. And to think it all began with one guy drinking some chunky
Yes, pick that up and just
skulls.
don't worry about dying. Oh god.
My Little Mammoth.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Anyway, one final time, I'd like to thank Ubisoft for their sponsorship of this video. If you want to learn more about Far Cry Primal, click here to check out that game.
Get off my lawn!
Check out the connected Ubisoft universe video I mentioned before. And so, shoot your hunter bow.
Should have done this a long time ago.
Outline how Ubisoft is to video games, what Marvel is to movies these days. Building a huge connected world that will one day yield an epic crossover game. It's where it's coming. It's not just wearing a tinfoil cap. And just give you a preview of something about next time, the dating sim video. I kid you not, it's finally here. And speaking of Marvel, if you'll excuse me, I just saw Deadpool and I gotta do a film theory about it. Any film theory, oh, so awesome. This is me happily skipping away from the microphone to go do research.
We've got our web search browser done. So again, actual image. Now why don't we actually go ahead and load something
Oh my god!
kind of familiar with?
Can you imagine a world where we're all represented by a cloud? Huh, where's when I would be? So straight.
Attack from behind! Let's go, let's go! Oh my god! I don't really get end pearls a lot, so that's probably why I'm excited. I'll put this end pearl inside there. Oh my god, I shall have it.
Take a moment and put your
go mining to find
now,
this.
I don't think I've ever gotten
Wow.
this many requests to cover a game. Well, except
Wow.
for Snap. And I chose Snap too. Oh, and
Anyway,
Snap 3. Wait a
whoever's
minute.
watching
Don't
this
worry
video
about something
and
here.
likes
Anyway,
it,
board on
wow,
YouTube, Reddit, and
thanks.
Twitter, you all
You guys
wanted Undertale.
are
And
really
honestly,
amazing.
I'm glad you brought it to my attention. True loyal theorists will know
I
that
kind of owe
Undertale
you
is
guys a
my
lot of
favorite
videos.
game of all time. So a
A couple of
self-aware
them.
RPG in similar style, oh man, like a gift
I'm
from
not sure when other
gaming
people are
heaven.
gonna join into my series,
Every character
but you know, you never know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it'd just be us. Just us. No one else. Or it could be my friends.
A skeleton named after the font Comic Sans, hence all the font references at the beginning of the episode. If you haven't played Undertale, I'm sure that was a really weird opening. Anyway, Sans is, well, there's a lot of mystery around this guy. Before we get into it, let me put up a very special spoiler warning. Undertale is a game best experienced blind. So if you haven't played it, pause the video and come back after you finish. I promise you won't regret it. Alright, so everyone out of the pool and ready for the adult swim? Because I'm feeling pretty determined to get to the bottom of Sans' mystery. So just to recap for those of you who haven't played the game and ignored the spoiler warning, or just need a refresher, Sans is one of the two skeletal brothers who appear in the game. His partner is Papyrus, a loud, goofy trap lover also named after a fox. But in the world of Undertale, their origins are a big question mark. Although we
Can't
do know
find
that
any
given to us by a fact,
like
claims
mines.
that Sans and Papyrus, quote, just showed up one day and asserted themselves. Weird.
This means I'll collect food. Wow.
Papyrus is just kind of the goofy sidekick. Sans is much more complex. Sure, he likes fart jokes, but he's also incredibly powerful. Deadly serious. Not only is his boss battle the hardest of the game, he's one of the only characters to have knowledge and power over space and time. He often takes shortcuts around the world through ridiculous routes, even walking through walls. He also acknowledges that he's only one of infinite versions of himself, making self-aware commentary of the various timelines that you've played through in the game. He can even count the number of times he's killed you. He acts like an arbiter in this world, passing out judgment on the player's actions in the game, even explaining the secrets of EXP and love, or execution points and levels of violence, just to clarify. In short, he just doesn't, like, fit in with the rest of the world of monsters. But then, what or who is he? Well, the idea that he doesn't belong in Underworld seems to be correct. The evidence seems to point to the fact that he was, in fact, formerly a surface dweller. In the true pacifist ending of the game, as the group looks out onto the horizon, Papyrus asks Sans about the giant ball in the sky. Sans says, quote, we call that the sun. This is important because A, the usage of the word he and knowledge of the sun shows that Sans has a kinship or knowledge with other humans, and B, that despite he and Papyrus both being skeletons, are supposedly brothers, and apparently appeared in Underworld at the same time, they clearly have two very different histories. Why would Papyrus not know the name of the sun, but Sans would? We get further clues as to Sans' origin as we hear him say multiple times that he wants to go home, or go back. He says as much during his dinner date scene at the Metaton Hotel. He notices that the player must want to go home and says, quote, I know the feeling. He then continues, maybe sometimes it's better to take what's given to you, as though he ended up in Underworld by accident. And in a genocide run during his boss fight, he says, quote, look, I gave up trying to go back a long time ago, end quote. And before you say he means going back to the surface world, that's clearly not the full story. His very next line of dialogue is, and getting to the surface doesn't really appeal anymore either. Key word here is either. Yes, he seems to hail from the surface and wants to go back, but based on his dialogue, he no longer considers it his home. It's as though the surface world he once knew is gone, as though he's from a different time. Pretty intriguing. So we're left with a
Wow,
that
we
appears
cannot
nowhere
find
to
any
distinguish
mines.
from the human
We have traveled so far, I don't even know where the spawn is, so I guess we won't be getting home in this video. Maybe we'll just die so we can get home. Once we find a cave and get stuff. But if we run out of food now, we're gonna be screwed. Or would we? 23 pork chops. Huh.
After some searching, you find the workshop, which contains items that leave even more questions. A photo album featuring Sans and a bunch
I've been watching this. Why did I think a working phone in Minecraft was better than finding out who Santa actually is?
It's human.
Japanese tech brush Tahoma area of the other.
Sorry. I need food from you. Not only do I need food, I need rabbit foot. Oh god, I feel sad now because it gave me nothing. Sorry, chicken! Wait, chicken. I forgot your name. Bunny! Sorry. I needed the rabbit foot for potions. No, do not. Does this give you food? No, I'm not gonna kill it. You're a nice bunny. You're a small bunny. I don't even think that's a bunny. It's a rabbit. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not gonna kill that rabbit. It's cute. I like chickens, but you know they give you chicken. I love chicken. And you can never give chicken away. Well, you can actually, if you don't like it. But like, why would I? Why would I? It's just tasty. I don't know what I'm gonna do with doing this, but I'm smart. I forgot about the map. Oh god, it's switching to offline. Anyway. I kill your mother or daddy. Why is there so many babies? Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and sorry if you're rabbit likers. I'm really sorry about that. I really needed its rabbit foot, and we got it.
Rabbit.
So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed.